Warning, this episode contains adult language, mature situations, a Hikkikimori elf posing as a goddess, an overworked high school-aged Miko, tons of alternative branded merchandise, video games galore, very lazy moments, and some really funny comedic moments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Listener discretion is advised. Episode 483, Otaku Elf. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, and what's up? Hope all of you are doing well out there in internet land, and hope you're excited for another fun-filled episode, because I know I am, and I'm psyched because this week is going to be amazing, not just for the podcast, not just that, but because it is Otakon week, but more on that later. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Spiraken, or some podcasts and vague reviews about connected enhanced narratives, is a nerdy podcast where every episode we talk about various geeky topics depending on the show you're listening to. Since this is the Spiraken Manga Review, obviously we're talking about manga. I tell you the art style is, the overarching plot, the characters, the design quality, and most importantly, if it's worth investing your time or not. You don't have to agree with anything that I and my co-host say, but we try to be educational, enlightening, exciting, and most importantly, entertaining. You can check out any of our earlier episodes at www.spiraken.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, and various other social media sites. Just type in SPIRAKEN in the search bar, and I guarantee you'll find us one way or the other. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can email me personally at Zan, that's XAN, @Spiraken.com. You can tweet me at Spiraken, that's spelled SPIRAKEN, by the way. Or you can tag me on Instagram. And if you enjoy what you hear, you could either rate us on iTunes, let us know how we're doing. You can support our Patreon, help us create more fun content for you to enjoy, or you can just be awesome and just send me some really cool emails. I appreciate any of that, and well, with that in mind, let's actually get to it, because if you remember from that last episode, I spun that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga, and it dictated unto me that I'd be reviewing a manga that was written by Akihiko Higuchi and published by Kodansha. However, it's brought over here not by Kodansha, but by Seven Seas Entertainment. It is a shonen series that started in 2019 and is still coming out. There are 6 volumes, and it is a fantasy comedy that is known simply as edomae edufu, or Otaku Elf. So, for generations, Koito's family has been the caretakers of the Takamimi Shrine, home of the ageless goddess, a goddess that has been around for over 400 years and has blessed the town. People give them gifts and always will go to see them, and the current generation's attendee of the ageless elf is Kogane Koito, who she's been kinda trying her best to be the best Miko she can to this ageless goddess who actually personified and exists. And to everybody else, this goddess is nice and benevolent and always there. But the truth is a little different. The truth is that the goddess is Elda, an elf who was transported to Japan over 400 years ago, and since that time, she's slowly developed from being a very up and coming and very normal elf to a complete Hikkikimori who lives at home, who wants to spend all of her time playing video games, eating snacks, and chugging lots of energy drinks, then perform her quote-unquote godly duties, which completely causes Koito to just go completely crazy and be very stressed out. And the whole manga is about Koito trying to convince Elda to venture out into the world, to just do something different and to do her godly duties. Whether it's bless someone's house or just go outside to get a meal, because she is super lazy. I mean, it gets to the point where she's like, Koito, I see these gachapons. You have to get them or else you'll be cursed. Or, Koito, I need a new video game. You need to get it for me or else this or that. And then her offerings are essentially her allowance, so she's allowed this much per day, and Koito has to deal it out and say, okay, you can have 1 energy drink a day, no more, no less, because you get all hyped up and crazy, and you'll text me at 3 a.m, or you can only have this item now, not later, because it's not a good idea. So it's essentially about this ageless goddess who acts like a toddler, and this kid who has to act as her minder. There's other characters involved, including her younger sister, who makes all the delicious food that Elda likes. But for the most part, it is very cut and dry. Every chapter is a different story about something that Elda does or wants, and then Koito has to deal with the ramifications of whatever the problem is, however stressful it can be. And I'll be honest right now, this is very similar to Umaru-chan, because Umaru is that, she's a part-time gremlin, essentially. She's half the time really, really sweet, but the other time she's at home chugging Coke, playing video games, playing with her hamsters, and just, I don't want to go out, I'm a little girl. This is kind of that situation, except the difference is that she has an on-off mode. Elda's a little bit different in the fact that she doesn't really have an on-off mode. She has a stage persona, but it's only for like 5 minutes, and she reverts back immediately, and most everyone does know she's a nerd. Most of her offerings are things like PlayStations and games and snacks, and that specific chip that she really, really enjoys, you know? But I digress. So it's very repetitious, it's very slice-of-lifey. The art style, it's okay. I do love the fact that a lot of her technology, it looks like the actual things, but there's slight differences. Like, she has a Nintendo Swatch instead of a Nintendo Switch. There are gun paws, but they're not gun paws. They're like gun gauze, things like that. It's like this little subtle thing with the design that they just change one of the letters. Like, the productions are great. The character design is very normal. The tankobons themselves, they're okay. It's 7 Seas Entertainment. It's got a nice glossy finish, but it's okay. It's not great, not terrible. That's what I gotta say about it. So, also besides that, there's 4 volumes. It is very repetitious, and it is getting an anime series coming out next year, or the end of this year. But, I don't know. It feels very wash, rinse, repeat, and for that reason, I have to give Otaku Elf a Gift from Crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay, but forgettable. And that's not a bad thing, because it's not the worst manga ever, but it's not amazing. It does tons of tropes that we've seen before. It is one character essentially babysitting another character who is super childish and otaku-ish. There's nothing new with it. There is the element that she's a elf who's acting like a child, and her reasoning for being so anti-social is due to a child making fun of her ears, and that's led to this agoraphobia. However, for the most part, it's just going through the motions, and that's kind of a letdown. But it isn't bad. If you've never read any of these series before, I highly recommend this one. If you've never read any of the ones where it's a character babysitting another character, highly recommend it. Check it out. But if you've read it before, it's paint by numbers. You've seen this done before. And with that in mind, let's actually get to the manga releases for the week, and this is for July 26th, 2027. We currently have 37 titles that came out this week, even though I know certain stores have broken street date on that, but actually let's just get to it, shall we? So, starting off, we've got A Certain Scientific Railgun, Volume 17, A Tropical Fish Yearns for Snow, Volume 9, A Gravity Boys, Volume 7, then we don't have just one volume, not 2 volumes, but 3 volumes of Build King, so we get Build King Volumes 1, 2, and 3 being released today. Chilling in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers, the manga Volume 4. Die Dark Volume 4 is coming out. Also, fun fact, Die Dark Volume 1 got pulled off of shelves because there was an error in it. So if you have a copy of Volume 1, you might have one where it has the repeat chapter. So check that out. You have Defrag Volume 16, Dragon Goes House Hunting Volume 8, Dungeon Crawling Academy Book 1 Into the Portal. Now, this is actually a hardcover title, which is kind of cool. Fate Grand Order, Mortalis Stella, Volume 3. High School Family, Kokosei Kozaku, Volume 2. How a Realistic Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, the light novel, Volume 15. How Do We Relationship, Volume 6. I Swear I Won't Bother You Again, the light novel, Volume 3. Inspector, Volume 16, My Androgynous Boyfriend, Volume 4, My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, the manga, Volume 7, Naruto, Kakaishi Story, The Sixth Hokage and the Failed Prince, Pulse, Volume 1, Sakurai-san Wants to Be Noticed, Volume 1, Sleepily Horned Witch Romy, Volume 2, Skeleton Knight in Another World, the light novel, Volume 10, The Haunted Bookstore, Gateway to a Parallel Universe, Volume 2. The Liminal Zone by Junji Ito. It's his newest work, and supposedly it's really creepy. The Misfit of Demon King Academy, Volume 4. The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, Volume 8. The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbye, Ultramarine, Volume 1. The Weakest Tamer Begins a Journey to Pick Up Trash, the light novel, Volume 2. Tokyo Revengers, The Omnibus, Volume 1 and 2. You have the regular edition. Then there was a Barnes & Noble's exclusive edition. So if you go to Barnes & Noble's, they have a very exclusive edition where I think it comes with a poster inside of it. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks really cool. UQ Holder, Volume 26. Witchcraft Works, Volume 16. World End Salt, Volume 1, and then World End Harem Fantastia, Volume 7. So those are the manga releases for the week, which came out yesterday. And I've got to say the ones that I'm most excited for definitely are Build King, Die Dark, How a Realist Hero, My Next Life is a Villainess, Pulse, Liminal Zone, and Tokyo Revengers. Which are the ones that you're excited about? Email me, zanspiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know what your thoughts are. If there was one you're excited about or one you thought no one should ever see ever again. Because I know a lot of people were kind of questioning about why there's so many volumes still of A Gravity Boys. But I do digress. So, either way, remember to like, share, subscribe. Thank all of you so much for listening to this podcast. Don't worry, we're not done yet, but I just want to thank you because all of you are really awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you, and every message, every email just makes me want to keep doing this as long as I can. It gives me motivation to keep going, and I want to keep doing this because I love reviewing manga, and I appreciate all of you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now let's get to something a little bit more self-promoting, and I'm talking about Otakon 2022. Yes, this week I will be at Otakon, so you might not hear from me on Friday, or maybe you will. I might do a special episode that's just specifically for being at Otakon. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited for that. But if you are going to be at Otakon, my panel is on Saturday at 2 p.m. in panel room 6. That's 22 pet manga recommendations for anyone. That was a hybrid of cats, dogs, and everything in between, which was made for Anime Boston. That's where I debuted it. And I've tweaked it and changed some things, so it's actually going to be kind of cool. But if you want to check out some other panels at Anime Boston, there's two I'd recommend. First off, there's the Wild World of Gundam Merchandise. This is a kind of insane panel where they talk about things that are legitimately licensed Gundam merch. We're talking things from car commercials to, not the rice cooker because that's kind of sketchy, but like clothing. So that's going to be in panel room 6 at 9 a.m. on Friday. So first thing on the con is going to be a panel about Gundam merch, so check it out. And then also there is going to be a mecha manga worth reading panel that is going to be at 7:30 in panel room 2 on Saturday. And yes, I know some of you are saying, hey, didn't you do a panel about mecha manga? Yes, I did, but that was for grown-ups. This is more just the best of the best. And I think that the people who are doing the panel are doing a great job with it because they know mecha a lot more than I do. I know some things, but they know a lot more. They have a master's degree and I'm still at that bachelor's level, so definitely check it out. I know it's during Gunbuster, which is happening at the same time, but I'd say give them a chance. All right, so I think that's it for this episode. For my Patreon fans, hope you're doing well. I'm releasing a special Zan's Extraordinary Superhero Examination just for you guys, where we're going to be talking about some of the latest news that was released from SDCC, so you can check that out. And yeah, let's actually get to the part that most of you have been waiting for, that all of you admit that's your favorite part of the podcast. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. So what we're going to do is we're spin the Wheel of Manga. Whatever number it lands on, the manga that's in that spot is the one I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, which is episode 483. Yes, we are 17 away from episode 500. And if you'd like to recommend an idea for what I should do for episode 500, because it is such a momentous occasion, email me, zanspiraken.com. But I digress. Let's get to what we're going to review in the next episode, shall we? Number 10. So in the next episode, I'm going to be reviewing a manga which is either a ecchi series or it's straight up hentai. I'm not entirely sure, but it's called Welcome to Succumbus High. What's it about? I don't know. Is it going to be good? I don't know. But we're going to have to wait and find out. So guess that's it for this episode. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed. As usual, I am your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. Catch you guys next time, and keep reading manga. See you later.